Randy 3 would vanish while sleeping in the living room floor of his father's Las Vegas apartment during a birthday party his stepmother was hosting for his father. There were around 15 guests at this party, and yet somehow little Randy vanished in the middle of the celebration with no witnesses. His stepmother and father told investigators that they believe he was abducted, but investigators noted that his father and stepmother never participated in the search for Randy. They never showed much interest in his case, and his case remains unsolved. We are in our 24th week, and we are still in Nevada. On February 15, 1992, Randy's father, Mike, and stepmother, Tina, hosted a birthday party celebration for Mike with around 15 people in attendance at their apartment on 313 East Rochelle Avenue. Around 11:30 p.m., Randy was last spotted wrapped in a blanket asleep on the living room floor. There were a few different versions of what happened after that, but here's the most widely reported version. In 1992, Mike told the Las Vegas Review-Journal that he fell asleep in the back room with their daughter, and a friend was sleeping on the couch in the living room, and Randy was sleeping on a blanket on the floor nearby. Tina claims that she left the house around 11:30 p.m. with friends to go to a nearby casino, and when she returned home 3 hours later, that's when they realized that Randy was gone. There's also another reported version where both Mike and Tina went to the casino together, and another version where Mike and Tina and the rest of the group fell asleep in the back bedroom at the time that Randy disappeared. It was noted by investigators from the beginning that Mike and Tina didn't seem interested in assisting in the search for Randy. They even noted that when Mike was told that Randy was missing, he had to be dragged out of the back bedroom and awakened to help search for him. On top of everything else, the couple refused to take a polygraph test, and while they weren't completely avoidant with officers, they didn't willingly participate or assist in the search or investigation for Randy. When they did finally agree to a polygraph, both of them failed on the questions on the whereabouts of Randy and if they owed anybody money, raising more alarms for investigators. Investigators don't believe that Randy walked out on his own since it was cold out, and noted small inconsistencies with Tina's story from the beginning. Investigators began shifting their focus and investigating the real possibility that Randy had either been kidnapped, sold, or killed, and they considered Tina and Mike the prime suspects. Randy's biological mother was ruled out as a suspect by investigators from the very beginning of the case. They drove out to California where she lived to speak with her about a week after Randy disappeared, and that is when she would learn that her son had vanished. In March of 1992, Tina and Mike were served with court papers to appear in the Clark County grand jury. The papers stated that evidence presented will concern, quote, your alleged involvement, end quote, in crimes including murder, kidnapping, child abuse, and conspiracy to commit the sale of a person. Mike told the Daily Press on March 20th, 1992, that they couldn't imagine what kind of evidence might be presented against them, saying, quote, I just couldn't believe it when I read the murder and kidnapping. I just couldn't believe it. Police don't tell us anything. They had the finger pointed at us since day one. I see murder on this paper. There must be a body somewhere. Why haven't we been told? End quote. And Tina told the Daily Press that she was shocked and she didn't understand what kind of proof that they had. They ended up refusing to testify at the grand jury and subsequently were never charged in connection with Randy's case. Tina and Mike would go on to have a child together and move out of state, where they ended up getting a divorce. Mike died in 2014 and Tina still refuses to cooperate with investigators or speak to the press. Randy's biological mother fell apart after learning about her son's disappearance, and she was so heartbroken that she was incapable of taking care of her other child, whom she had to turn over to family members because her grief was so heavy she could not function as a parent. She did later move to Texas and have 2 more children, but to this day she carries the grief of her missing boy in hopes that one day he will be found. She did provide DNA in 2015 to be added to the national database in hopes of getting a match. No one has ever been charged in connection with Randy's disappearance despite multiple investigations and a grand jury investigation. As of now, Las Vegas police have his disappearance classified as a missing person. When Randy was last seen, he was 3 years old, 2'11" to 3 feet, weighing around 50 pounds. He's described as a Caucasian male with blonde hair and blue eyes. He has a scar on his left eye, and at the time of his disappearance, his hair had 2 to 6 inch tail in the back. He was last seen wearing a black shirt, black pants with a blue diamond design on the knees, and no shoes. If you have any information in Randy's disappearance, you are urged to call the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department at 702-229-3561. Please keep sharing Randy's face in his case in hopes that we can bring him home to his mother. Thank you so much for taking the time to get to know Randy today, and don't forget, when you see those missing and murdered posts on social media, hit like and share, because every time we share a face, we do get closer to solving a case, and I will see you all back here tomorrow for another day in Nevada.